My name's Dave DeBow, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content.
All right, guys, welcome to Property Profits Podcast. I'm your host, Bryce Kaminsky, filling in for Dave Dubow. And have you ever wondered how a physician turned real estate investor balances two seemingly different passions? Well, today I've got Mohamed Fakih from Michigan. He's here to shed some light on how he's creating a dream life through real estate. Mohamed, welcome to the show. Great to have you here.
Thank you so much, Bryce, for having me on the show. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Now, I've had a few physicians over my time jump on the show, and it seems to be that it's a choice for real estate because of they usually talk about burnout. It's like, oh, I'm too burned out. I'm forced to take these extra hours because I need to either maintain it or because, maybe they'll not give me as many hours or something. Like there's pressure from the hospital to maintain hours, and having real estate on the side allows them to alleviate that pressure and say, you know what, I'm okay if I don't have to do that shift. I got some cash flow. I got some futures that aren't hospital related. So tell me, how do you navigate that intersection between your medical career and your real estate aspirations?
Well, 100%. So burnout is a big thing in the medical field. We're seeing a rapid rise in nurses and physicians leaving the field, especially during COVID, because of the extra burdens, the tasks you do, and then low reimbursement on the medical aspect of it. And I think one of my goals is going into real estate is I want to practice medicine on my own terms. So I'm only a physician now. I'm in training. So I'm in my last few months of training before I transitioned going to clinical practice with my mom at her clinic, Dearborn Pediatric in Dearborn, Michigan. But I know going in with my parents both being entrepreneurs themselves, that I always saw a vehicle in real estate to provide not only for myself and family, but to build generational wealth. So the real estate itself allows me to go back to my ultimate goal, is to practice medicine on my own terms and provide the best care for my patients while also building financial wealth for myself.
So what advice would you give to other professionals looking to diversify into real estate?
So first thing you do and determine is, do you want to be active in the business or passive? I think being active, you're either a landlord, you're raising the money, but you're actively involved in the business, and there's a lot of skill sets you need to do. And you need to understand that there is some challenges, but there's a lot of benefits. At the same time, if you're making a lot of money in whatever path you're doing and you just don't enjoy real estate, the business aspect of things, you can invest more passively and get a good return for your money. But you need to vet your operators and making sure that they're providing the best returns and a good deal for you to build wealth more in the passive aspect of things.
Yeah, it's kind of like a restaurant. You got to read the Yelp reviews before you go and spend big money. It's got the $3 signs. You know you're spending big money. Are you going to get a good return on your investment? Are they going to give you good food, or is it just going to be a mess? Because really, it's a service base when you're investing and you're not actively doing it. You're just saying, here's my money, turn it into more money, please. Here's my money, turn it into pizza, please. Whatever the result is. But yeah, I like what you said. You got to vet those operators. Especially today, in today's age, where everyone says they're investing in multifamily or they're a syndicator, and it's pretty much like actor slash model slash musician slash multifamily syndicator. It's like
everyone
throw the slash on the end, and now you're a multifamily syndicator. So yeah, definitely do your research on people who are doing that. And you've traversed through various real estate strategies, from wholesaling and now into the commercial multifamily side. Could you walk us through your journey, kind of how you went about the decision-making process behind each of those transitions?
Yeah. So when I first started, the only thing I knew was wholesaling, where to better terms, you get a property under contract at a certain price and you sell that contract to another investor for a higher price. And the difference between the two is what you would make. Doing that, you're looking for distressed properties and more often single family properties. And I found that to be a challenge to find those properties, get them under contract at the right price, and then find the investor. So for better time use of my management, I looked at a 4-unit complex where I was the buy and hold investor, and it fit more of my goals. Like, I want to take the money I make as a physician and put it into an asset that grows over time.
Yeah.
Now, so I went from wholesaling to a 4-unit apartment complex at all. So it's considered residential, it's under 4 units. And now that I'm looking to kind of more scale and to get better bang for my buck, I'm looking at more of the commercial and 5 to 24 units because they're evaluated a little bit differently. And it's ability for me to scale and take my money as well as help others at the same time grow their portfolio and grow their wealth.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when you look at how the bank, like you were saying, values those properties. A 4-unit, a 3-unit, like these are just 2 houses, 3 houses, 4 houses.
Exactly.
You break into like 6 units, 10 units, 20 units. Now the financing changes, the insurance changes, everything about it kind of changes. How you property manage that thing versus like a 2 or a 3-unit building, definitely transition. So what drew you to focus on 5 to 25 units in these like BC markets like Oakland and Wayne County?
So being from this area, I think one thing that allows me to be an advantage is I'm from the area. So I know where the good pockets and bad pockets are. Even within certain cities at all, you want to stay on certain aspects of the county. So being there and being homegrown, that provides me the opportunity to find those good pockets. And then B and C class markets tend to be in the Midwest, more cash flow heavy. And that's one of my goals, is to provide cash flow for myself so that I can replace my income in my W-2 job as a physician. And then A-class markets are also things that are on my radar, but I think for purposes' sake now, I'm really honing on those BC class markets to get the best bang for my buck.
Yeah, and especially when you're getting started, the competition in the A market is hedge fund competition, things like that. It's just like, it's gonna feel like you're just up against a brick wall for a lot of times until you start getting those inside edges with the larger brokerages and stuff like that. So one of the big things about purchasing and being a landlord, property management, all that, is inherited tenants. So have you dealt with that a few times so far? Have you had to inherit any tenants in the units that you've acquired so far?
Yeah. So when I initially acquired the 4-unit, so this property is in Kansas City, Missouri. So I'm out of state in that regard. So I'm not on the property. I have a management company that oversees that. And these rents were significantly below market. They're closer to 200-300 below market. So if you can imagine that, these tenants probably been there for a few years. They knew that there's a lot of deferred maintenance going on. So right in the first month, I got hit with 2 clogged toilets back-to-back months. Got charged, I think, $200-300 each, and it hurt really deep in the pockets initially because I was anticipating good cash flow at the beginning, but it was negative. We had doubts of like, did I buy the right property? Did I really get in the right time? Especially as a resident physician, I'm paycheck to paycheck with my expenses, but with persistence and kind of tighter asset management, overseeing the property manager, like, we fixed those issues. We're proactive to get these issues resolved. I've turned those into profits now, and these are good life lessons I've gotten just being active in the business that I would never gotten just listening to a podcast or reading a book.
Yeah,
no one ever tells you those things.
Getting on the field and getting hit a few times will get you started in the game. There's a saying, some hockey players go out there on their first shift and hit someone to get in the game, and I think landlording is kind of the same. You got to get hit before you realize, oh, I'm a landlord now. I just changed a toilet at 2 a.m. Now you're a landlord, so you got the achievement badge. Now, consistency and implementing systems is always a recurring challenge for real estate investors as they scale. What sort of steps are you taking to kind of streamline your process and improve your deal flow efficiency?
So one thing it is, I think there's a visionary board to kind of getting your 1, 3, 5-year goals in place and getting your core values. So one thing that I like to look at is integrity and transparency, community service, excellence, and giving. Those are things that I don't take for granted. Are strict rules that we follow, because the best thing we want to do is be transparent with our investors, transparent with anyone we're working with, hey, if we give a word on something, like this is our word, we're gonna push through. Excellence is another thing. Like we want to be the best. We don't settle for mediocrity. And then at the last part is just community service and giving. Like at the end of the day, the best thing we can do is money comes and goes. What can we do to make this world a better place? And that's something I take dear to heart. I like to give back, whether it's through monetary donations or through charity. I do in the future want to set up a foundation to help the homeless here in the United States at all, and then help in my home country of Lebanon to enrich people's lives and make the world a better place.
Yeah, there's definitely, of any of the businesses, it's definitely one that you can make the biggest amount of like geographic change in your city, county, area. You're like, oh, you're the guy who turned that apartment around on the corner of X and Y. And you're like, yeah, it was a struggle, but look at it now, painted, big, nice chrome numbers on the side or whatever. And I always drive around and look, oh yeah, I flipped that one, see the red door. That one, oh yeah, we did 3 on this street. You can really change a block. But it does take that entrepreneurship and that like going after it to change the block. It's not just going to happen on its own. So, when you look at investments, now that you're going into the larger multifamily, it's going to
Mm-hmm.
need larger amount of capital.
Yep.
And a lot of investors are looking for that kind of doubling investors' money within 3 to 5 years, which is kind of in line with what you were saying before the show. What sort of strategies are you going to employ to achieve these, aggressive and impressive returns? And how do you mitigate those risks for the investors?
Yeah, so like you said, our goals is to double your equity in every 3 to 5 years. So
Mm-hmm.
we primarily look for value add multifamily deals. And the one thing we want to provide is risk adjusted returns. So things we want to look for are properties that have been owned by a property owner for 10 plus years, 20 plus years, whether they've been in the family for multitude of a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Inherited properties is one other thing we do. So a lot of times it's been in the family, and unfortunately someone passes away, and now it's
Yeah.
in the son or daughter their name, and they are not managers, they are investors themselves, and they want to offload the property. So we were able to provide a solution for them by providing a right price at all and getting in the deal at the right price, and then be able to increase the value of the property by increasing rents, whether it's what we call loss of lease, meaning a property rents for 600, but in the as condition, comparable rents down the street are 800. That's
Mm-hmm.
$200 increase in rents across a 12 unit building at a 6 cap. You're talking about $100,000 in increased value. So if we can do it in the most affordable way, whether it's the rehab or just loss of lease, we're able to provide both cash flow in returns, as well as on the back end through a refinance or selling a property and giving them a liquidity event.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lots of different profit centers in multifamily, even down to like washing and drying machines, like there's parking and there's storage and there's lots of different ways to um, do what they call like value add or like lift um, to that stabilization event, however long that takes. So when you're looking at the type of capital in the Oakland and the Wayne County, what
Mhm.
sort of price points are things looking like as do your underwriting?
Yeah, so in the Oakland County area, it's one of the highest gross incomes in the state and across the nation. The average income there is between like 80 to 100,000 is the household income. So the property values are a little bit higher versus Wayne County. And I
Mm-hmm.
understand that because I'm from the area. So the average price per door in that area is anywhere, depending on which market you go in, 60 to 100,000 per door. So we look at $1 to $2 million deals. Those are 5 to 25 unit complexes.
Mm-hmm.
And with the bank lending 65% loan to value on $1 million deal, we probably will need 350 to 400, depending on the rehab budget. On a $2 million deal, we may need between 600 and 700 also. So we're looking for a few $100,000 in capital for the down payment, and then the capex to get that value of the property up, and with hopes to return your money back within 3 to 5 years, or preferably sooner, because the faster we can make your money grow, the better for you. And it helps us on the back end to kind of get more deals under our belt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you can recycle the money. So let me ask you, so far in your real estate, especially, with what you've done on the physician side as well, what would you say your secret sauce to life is? What's your unfair advantage in the sense that what comes easy to you that other people might find difficult to do?
I think because as a physician, we're always asking questions, we're always analyzing things and using the data.
Mm-hmm.
Underwriting comes very easily to me. I love looking at the numbers. I like looking at ways we can find secret ways, creative ways to make more money on a deal. Like, is there more loss to lease that we see, or is there, like you said, laundry income or pet income? And looking at the T12 and the rent roll, like, what other ways can we find that we can make more money that the typical investor or doesn't see? If we can
Mm-hmm.
find those small subtleties, um, there's a lot of opportunity we can provide for our investors and return their capital, and make them more money.
So what sort of ways are you reaching out to people to let them know, hey, I'm moving into bigger things. I'm looking for more partners, like networking events, webinars. What sort of things are you doing to kind of stir up beat the bushes, so to say?
Yeah, so we're hosting a webinar coming May 16th. It's an event where we're telling physicians and high net worth individuals. It's with a community called Sub 2.
Mm-hmm.
Kimberly, she's a nurse entrepreneur that owns doors. And we're just showing people how you can use your net worth at all and become either active or passive in the business. At the same time, I have an Instagram page at the multifamily doc. It's
Mm-hmm.
where I show my journey, how I started in real estate, why I'm so bullish on real estate, and I'm just going to take you through where I am now. And one example, we're going to be doing a renovation on my 4 unit, and I'm going to share what my thought process is and the before and after product. So at Multifamily Doc is where you can probably reach me the best, or the Fakih Capital Group. I have a website there where you can kind of reach out and we can connect offline.
Nice, nice. So when you look at that 4 unit building, what sort of things are you going to be working on when it comes to stabilizing that unit?
So we have 1 unit, so it's a studio,
Mhm.
and we looking at it there, some cabinets were or some doors were missing. There was the floor kitchen, the tile came out, so we're going to be adding some LVP. We painted the unit. We're going to be updating the cabinets so that we can provide a nice, affordable place for people to live. At the same time, it's durable and sustainable for me as an investor, so that I don't have to continuously turn it over every single year, while providing the getting closest to market rent as possible.
Yeah, you do have to be careful about what sort of finishings you use, that click flooring, the stuff that's like clicks together.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. It's easy to put in, but if one piece unclicks, the whole thing goes, the whole floor goes.
Yep.
I had that on one of the units, and it's just like that's why on one of my rentals, I got the vinyl lay down plank and glued it
Mm-hmm.
down. That stuff's never coming off, not without a product and a scraper, but you can hit it with a hammer. You can, drag a dog across the thing. It's gonna be more resistant than any other flooring I've seen. So, um, there's definitely been a few people on the show that have been talking about how to reduce the turnover. A lot of us before I was on the episode that last week, this lady was talking about, can't remember her name, but the episode's gonna be coming out soon. She said we do all hard surfaces counters, and I'm like, okay, that's kind of expensive, right? Quartz
Mm-hmm.
or granite or whatever. And she said, well, we did the numbers because we manage 5,500 units in the Dallas area,
Okay.
and when we did the numbers, we looked at the replacement cost and the general wear, and the lowest builder grade quartz outperforms on a 10-year horizon. I was like, yeah, I mean, I guess because you think about it, let's say every 2 years you're replacing the $200 countertop,
Mm-hmm.
$300 countertop these days might even be 500 now. But you look at it, you say, okay, well, what would it have been for custom hard service? And a little bit more, but the turnover, right? Like you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
how often do we have to actually touch it versus just cleaning it, which is, I think, the big difference for what they're doing. So, yeah, I mean, when you look at the multifamily space, what excites you the most about, really investing and growing this portfolio?
I think it's just the opportunity at hand. So I think with 2020, 2021, 2022, there are a lot of people that bought on bridge debt, and we hear about it that maturing loans are coming up, So there's an opportunity for a little blood, we call it bloodbath coming in, where there's people that are gonna maybe foreclose or come due. And if we can find opportunities, whether it's adjustable rate mortgages or where I'm looking at is tired landlords who've been in the business for 20 years and are looking to kind of retire, we can provide, we can get opportunities where they're seller financed or just a great deal at a great price going in and increasing the value and holding it for a 5-7 year period, whatever it is, depending on the location, and providing the best adjusted risk returns to our investors, because multifamily is one of the best hedges against inflation. It's stable, especially in the Midwest. Cash flow is king here with a little bit of appreciation. The best duo I can name.
I like how you said a little bit of appreciation, because that's what it is. I look, I'm always got my eye on Cleveland, been there a few times and done some business down there. And I was looking at it, I was like, I don't think the prices of the houses being so low, you wouldn't really know of the appreciation. Like maybe they were 27,000 and now they're like 35,000. And so when you look at it, that could be a pricing decision of 5K, but that's the kind of like appreciation. But the cash flow, way different, because you're buying it, you're into it. Let's say you fix it, it's like you're into it for 50K.
Yep.
Rents are going to be 750, 900 on a single house. So it doesn't take a physician or a real estate investor like me to do the math and say there might be some cash flow in the Midwest. So if you're tired of the East and West Coast, not to say that I want people to come and eat our lunch, but I think there's enough properties for everyone to have in the Midwest. That's for sure.
There's the abundance mindset. I think you got to have that. Like, there's always opportunities elsewhere around you at all. You just got to kind of hone in, define what your niche is, and focus on that. That's what happened with me in wholesaling. I was so focused here and shiny object syndrome and imposter syndrome. Like, did I know I was going to do what I wanted to do or know what I was doing? But I jumped in, got my first property, and I think I'm now laser focused on the multifamily space because I know there's an abundance opportunity coming away, and it's just exciting times.
Yeah. We'll see what the interest rate does and then see how that plays out in the multifamily space. Because I think it's one of those parts of real estate that is really interest rate heavy, being that the loans are in the millions, so we got to make sure that every percent counts. Now, if people want to get a hold of you, they want to find out more, what should they do? How do they find you?
Yeah, so like I said before, the Instagram page, multifamily doc, or you can reach our website at fakihcapitalgroup.com. Those are two ways you can.
For them? People listen on the podcast too.
Yeah, FAKIH capital CAPITAL group GROUP.com. Awesome. There you can connect with me, either Instagram or that website. We have posts that we talk about the benefits of real estate, why real estate. We have weekly posts that we'll be posting there as well.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you stopping by and letting people know about what's going on in the Midwest.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. Until next time, guys, we'll catch you on the next episode.
Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewyou.com. Now at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.